Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is my review for the series premiere of Married, and I wasn't expecting to review the show for you guys. I was actually planning on reviewing the show Satisfaction, but you know what I realized? Satisfaction and Married are the same show. They really are, in a way, sort of. I mean, Satisfaction's more about having an affair and things like that. Married's kind of about that, but more of a comedic approach. However, there were two shows that premiered on FX last night, Married and You're the Worst. I'm going to review Married in this part and You're the Worst in the next video. But Married, this was a show that I looked at the previews for. I thought it looked absolutely hysterical. I thought it was a show that my parents would really like. In fact, I recommended it to them because, you know, they could probably relate to it. The show actually was a lot more dramatic than I expected it to be, and that's one of the things I really enjoyed about the show. You know, it was definitely a very good show, and I'm definitely going to be checking out the show, and I feel like this show is actually going to have a recurring storyline, which I didn't expect it to have. I thought this would be pretty much like Louie, which doesn't have a recurring storyline, which, by the way, is, in my opinion, FX's worst comedy. I do not find Louie funny, basically, at all. But I really enjoyed this pilot, surprisingly, and, yeah, I really enjoyed it. So let's just get to it, because I really enjoyed it. Basically, so our main character is Russ. He is a dad, and he's also a husband to his wife, Lina, and they are in bed together, basically. They're complaining about, like, their sex life and things like that, and it's kind of funny, because, like, he's, like, jerking off, and she's like, you're not doing that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, no, I'm not, and you can see that he is. That was kind of funny. Basically, how they don't have a lot of sex because of the kids. We basically find out, you know, they have two daughters, and they kind of have their own problems. For example, one of the daughters, goldfish died, so they want to give, like, a funeral to that goldfish. I thought that was kind of funny, definitely. And basically, he asks, he goes up to his friend, and he says, what exactly am I doing wrong here? You know, what is it that I'm doing wrong? And why, you know, what does, you know, basically, what am I doing wrong? Because he knows that he's not, like, having a very good sex life, and it's not that he doesn't love his wife, which he does. He likes his life, and he doesn't understand why they don't have a good sex life. And his friend basically tells him, to basically try to, do what turns her on, and the thing that turns her on are vampires. So he dresses up as Dracula to like, try to turn her on, but it doesn't work. And eventually she tells him that she wants him to receive, basically, you know, it doesn't work, and basically they go out to lunch, and she says, look, if this is not gonna work, maybe you need to, you know, find another girl and receive sexual satisfaction from someone else, and he's not happy about, but you know what, he decides to do it. He feels he is losing chemistry with his wife, you know, because, like, he doesn't want to lose chemistry with his wife, obviously, because they have a good relationship, but, his friends, Jess and AJ, they convince him to try it. So, he goes to his new mistress, and, this is where the show gets really interesting. He's not planning on doing anything with her, he's just planning on, like, talking to her, he's not planning on doing anything. They actually get very, very close, though, you know, they start talking. He even buys her a fucking dog, you know, he buys her a dog, and, they actually, you know, they end up kissing, they get really close, and then they end up having sex behind his wife's back, and, that is a pretty big thing, because he was completely against it, and now he just had sex with her. So Lina then calls him to ask where the hell he is. He says he'll be home soon. He then leaves the mistress, but not before. She gives him a pair of her panties, and basically, you know, so yeah, she's kind of, you know, so she kind of definitely does have a connection with him, and she kind of does really like him, and he basically takes them and puts them in his pocket, which was not a good idea. He comes home to his wife, and his wife says, can we have a conversation, please? And, she tells him she knows about the money, and she's upset about because when she said he could do whatever he wanted, she did not mean he could do whatever he wanted. That's not what she meant. He tells her he kind of lies to her and says he did that because he's getting a gift for her, and he also lies to her, and this is probably one of the biggest parts of the episode, because he lies to her and says he did not have sex with anyone except for her, which is a complete lie, because he just had sex with that mistress. So, I thought that was definitely very interesting, because it's going to be, like, I'm interested in seeing where that's going to go from here. I just thought that was definitely very interesting. He then gets a phone call from his friend Dick, who he tells him he's trying to save his marriage. You know, basically tells him, look, you have to try to give me back that money, I'm trying to save my marriage. and he is then forced to attend his daughter's goldfish funeral, and I thought that was kind of funny, honestly. It really was funny. He then talks to his friends, and he admits to them he got his mistress a dog, and, you know, he's kind of upset. They're like, why are you so upset? He's like, you got her a dog? And, he shows up to this other guy, she has, like, a new master or whatever you want to call it, and he talks to Russ, and he gives him back the dog and tells Russ to take good care of him, because the other dog died. And he comes home to Lina, who is wondering where he has been, because she kind of missed him, and he tells her he was being, discreet, as she asked, and basically, oh, wait, that was with Lina, yeah, he comes home to Lina, who's wondering where he has been, and he was being discreet, as she asked. They watch a movie about werewolves, but his daughter comes up and is excited to tell Russ they got a dog, and this makes Lina very furious, because he did not tell her that they got a dog, and, she's kind of upset about it. And then probably the most interesting thing about this episode, I thought this was extremely interesting, and I was really wondering if this is gonna go. He's sitting there in bed, and he keeps getting, late-night texts from his mistress, and he's trying to ignore her, but, he really had this connection with her. He has more of a connection with her than he does with his wife, so he decides to go back to the hospital to visit her, and he tells her that her dog, Charlie, is actually dead, but he's getting her a new dog, Hercules, but she's devastated. She was very attached to this dog, and, basically, so yeah, she was very attached to this dog, and that's the last thing we see of her, so I don't know if we're gonna see her again, but that's the last we saw of her in this episode. He talks to Jess and AJ, and he tells them it's over between him and the mistress. There's no more mistress. There's no more of him with this mistress. There's no more of him, trying to, have sex with this mistress because it's ruining his marriage. And, basically, they tell him, well, do you really think you can do it? And he's then sitting in bed with Lina, and very much like the first scene, the dog is in there, they're complaining about their sex life, and he's, jerking off again, and that's how it ends. So yeah, that's basically, the premiere, and overall, I gotta say, I enjoyed this premiere. I do think the show has a couple problems. One of my problems with the show is the show does not know what it wants to be. Does it want to be a comedy, or does it want to be a dramedy? Because there are some points in this show where I feel like it wants to go dramatic, but then it goes to a comedy. So I don't really know if the show knows what exactly it wants to be, and that's a small problem, really. The acting in the show is great. The cast works very well together. The cast works very well. I like the way, the cast works together. I think they work very, very well together. I definitely do enjoy that. Judy Greer, Nate Faxon, I think his name is, they work very well together. You definitely see a lot of chemistry between them as a couple. They work very well together. And, what I like about the show is that it does have sort of a recurring storyline, because it's kind of like, is he really done with this mistress? I don't think he is, because his marriage is not, as strong as he wants it to be. And I think as the show goes on, he's gonna probably get more happy with the mistress than he is with her. And I feel like if that happens, it's going to get, a lot more interesting, and I think that's what's going to happen. Is this show funny? Yes, there were a lot of moments that were absolutely hysterical. In fact, for me, the funniest scene was the vampire scene. That scene was absolutely hysterical. I thought that scene was the most hilarious in the whole, episode. I thought the show had very good comedy, very good humor, but it also was a nice dramatic. I liked that it was dramatic as well. I do like that about the show. So yeah, I definitely do like that about the show, and it definitely is very good because of that. Definitely that's one of the best parts. The directing of the show is very good as well. The editing is good, definitely. And, some of the other questions I have about the show is, are we going to see this mistress again? Is he going to be with this mistress again? What sort of things is going to happen with this mistress? I'm interested in seeing, how this is going to work out with the mistress. Is this actually going to work out with him? What's going to happen there? I really don't know. We'll have to see what happens with him and the mistress, definitely, but it's going to get interesting. See what happens there. Is his wife going to find out that she lied to him? That's one of the biggest parts of this episode, is that she does not know that he lied to her when he said he didn't have sex with anyone when he did. So, eventually she has to find out, because I feel like this show is gonna make her find out, and that's what it's like. Now, this show has been compared to a modern day Married with Children, and I can kind of see that, because basically it's like, one of the only shows about marriage that's, like, extremely raunchy. This show is very raunchy, and that's why I like it. That's why I like FX, because FX doesn't censor anything, which we'll talk about when we get to You're the Worst. That's for another video. But that's basically it for my review of Married. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and, yeah, let me know what you guys saw of the show. I hope you guys enjoyed my review, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for the pilot of You're the Worst. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.